Welcome back to another Omega training video by Bermod. This training video will focus on adding devices such as valves, relays, and water meters to your Omega controller. To begin, please open your Bermod Cloud app and select My First Omega controller. We will use Claudio to assist us from here. Please select the bubble icon next to Add. Claudio will now present a list of all the devices we can add from here. This includes setting a valve, water meter, switch, analog sensor, or even a fertilizer injector. Let's start with setting a valve. Claudio will give us two options, an express setup which will create a valve without names or setting parameters. The second option is a custom setup. Please select Custom. Now we need to select what output terminal this valve will be wired to. We will select output number 1 since this is our first valve. Please choose a name for this valve and enter the name using the keyboard on your phone. After naming the valve, you will have the option to set flow alerts. Please select Yes and enter the nominal flow rate of this valve. Use the line fill-up delay to eliminate premature alert notification. This will be custom per site. Select Save to continue. Now we will set the low flow and high flow alert thresholds. We have selected to set the low flow alert at 25% below the nominal flow. We will set the notification to alert only. The high flow will also be set to 25%, but instead of sending an alert only, we want the high flow alert to stop the program. The last setting to complete this valve setup will be to set the alert if a water meter pulse is not present and a time delay to eliminate false alarms. Great job setting up your first valve. Repeat these steps for the remaining valves on this system. The last valve on this Omega will actually be a pump. We have named this output pump, and once we complete the output configuration we will set the pump output as the main valve to run concurrently with each of the other valves. Great! We now have 4 control valves and 1 pump added to this Omega. One last step to set output number 5 pump as a main valve. From the controller home page, please select the drop-down on the valves line. Next select the drop-down menu next to main valve and select pump. You will now see on the valve list that pump is listed as main. Great job setting up all the valves and outputs. Now we can add a water meter to this Omega. Please open Claudio and select Set Water Meter. This water meter will be a valve-dependent water meter because it will be in series with each of the valves we added. After you select Valve Dependency Water Meter, we will have the option for an Express or Custom setup. Express will create the water meter but will not set any of the parameters, while the Custom option will ask you to set the parameters at this time. Please select Express and we will set the parameters from the settings. Next, please select the input terminal this water meter will be wired to. We will select input number 1 because this is our first water meter. Now that you have selected input number 1 for this water meter, please name this meter. We will name this meter Bermod 2300. To finalize this water meter setup, please select Create Water Meter and go to Settings. Good job! You have now added 4 valves, 1 pump and 1 water meter to this Omega. Now we will go into the settings and add the water meter to the valves, and we will set the water meter parameters. Scroll down to where you see your first valve. Here you will see the name we entered when we added this valve and the terminal number we will land the solenoid wires. Now we will add a water meter to this valve. Please select the drop-down menu next to water meter and select Bermod 2300. Adding a water meter to this valve will enable the flow alert parameters. These can be disabled here. The nominal flow rate will be the baseline value. The Omega compares an actual flow rate to determine if the actual flow is higher or lower than the nominal flow rate. A measurement 25% higher or lower will send an alert. Here you can see a flow rate 25% below the nominal flow rate will trigger an alert. This will only be an alert only. A high flow rate of 25% above nominal will send an alert. This time we have elected to have the alert stop this program. Please repeat these steps for each of the control valves. The pump output is our main valve which will run concurrently with each of the other valves. Many times we do not want the pump to open at the same times as the valves for safety reasons. Here we can set a opening and closing delay to stagger the pump and valve closing times. Your options will be main valve before or after the valves and the time between the pump and the valves. This completes this Omega training video on setting up valves, pumps and water meters. Thanks for watching.